Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Tamara. Today we are back with another fan favorite made famous thanks to Booktok, the third installment of the Empyrean series, Onyx Storm. If you'd like to see this in video format without ad breaks, you'll need to head on over to Patreon and sign up. There's lots of content there for you to watch, including after shows. If you're listening on the Spreaker app, by signing up as a supporter, you too have access to the after shows and other exclusive audio-only content. You can also join me and my two co-hosts over on the Book Club's app for even more bookish chats. Please subscribe and like the podcast wherever you're listening. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me pretty much everywhere at Shelf Addiction. Joining me today is feature co-host Casey from Heart Full of Ink. Welcome back, Casey.
Hello, hello. I'm so excited to be here.
I think this is going to be an interesting one.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Yes, it will. So before we get started, tell everyone where they can find you online.
You can find me on Facebook at Heartful of Ink, on Instagram at Casey_Heartful of Ink, or on my website, heartfulofink.com.
Okay. So we're going to jump into things today. We have so much to cover. We're going to skip our shelf updates and we're just going to jump in because this is going to be a long episode. And plus, we've only been reading this for the last week. For me, it's been 10 days.
Yeah, for me, it's been this week. I did listen to the graphic audio of Iron Flame, and I will probably bitch about that at some point.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. But of course, as always with book chats, we just want to remind you that we talk full spoilers here. So spoiler alert, you have been warned. Today, we are talking about Onyx Storm, written by Rebecca Yarros, narrated by Jasmine Walker, Justice Bolding, Teddy Hamilton, and Rebecca Solar. Published January 21st, 2025 by Red Tower Books and Recorded Books. The hardcover is 527 pages. The unabridged audio is 23 hours and 52 minutes. Casey, would you kindly share the synopsis?
Writers don't run, we fight. Violet Sorengale. After nearly 18 months at Basgaith War College, Violet Sorengale knows there's no more time for lessons, no more time for uncertainty, because the battle has truly begun with enemies closing in from outside their walls and within their ranks. It's impossible to know who to trust. Now Violet must journey beyond the failing Orician wards to seek allies in unfamiliar lands to stand with Navarre. The trip will test every bit of her wit, luck, and strength, but she will do anything to save what she loves, her dragons, her family, her home, and him, even if it means keeping a secret so big it could destroy everything. They need an army, they need power, they need magic, and they need the one thing only Violet can find, the truth. But a storm is coming, and not everyone can survive its wrath.
Okay, y'all, first, before we really dive in, we're going to start with our high level. But before we do that, I want to give a small caveat. I usually don't do it, but I think this deserves one because I know there are a lot of hardcore fans of this series. And some of you guys may be listening right now. So just remember, reading is subjective. There are things we like, things we don't like. But if you're looking for a fan service review, This ain't it. This ain't it. We're just going to warn you right now.
This is our personal, honest opinions.
Right.
And we started out as fans. We've been here since the beginning. We've been reading the books. We've been enjoying them for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We're not haters. We're not
haters.
Coming at this as haters.
So if you can understand our point of view of being someone that enjoys things, but also can look at them a little critically, then you'll want to listen because I think we have some fun, interesting comments. And of course, maybe help you dig into it a little more and find some things that maybe you missed or didn't. Those kind of things. So just know this is not going to be a fangirl thing. There are some fangirl podcasts out there. You want to find those?
And we will have our moments of saying, this is what we liked. This is what we enjoyed.
We try to
We're
be
not
balanced.
going to tear the whole thing down. It's not going to be a full bash.
No, I was showing Casey. I have a list. I have list of likes, list of faults, and then, of course, questions and theories. So we've got both. So if you want to actually just skip to the good part, I'll put a timestamp down there. If you don't want to hear the negatives, you just want to hear the positives, there's going to be a timestamp available for you. I promise. Because that's how we're going to split it, y'all. So we're not going to be talking shit the whole entire time. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to kick it off as we usually do. High level, when you finish the book. Casey, what did you think?
I was very neutral.
Okay.
I wasn't mad. I saw this coming, but I wasn't really happy with it either.
Okay.
So it just...
That's fair.
It was the ending I expected.
Was it? Okay. So for me, I was like, ew. We skipped the wedding? I want to see. I mean, we're gonna get it next book. I'm sure it's gonna come back in flashbacks, when she starts to remember the 12 hours she lost. But I'm like, what the hell happened in 12 hours? How do you find someone, get a download of what the hell's going on? Obviously stuff went to hell in a handbasket, get married, tell your friend to make you forget it, and now here we are. Like, that's a lot. I kind of wanted a little bit of that, but like, we just skipped to the end.
That wasn't that. She was never going to show us any of that because, this is the ending, and she usually ends on like really high intense notes. I was a little surprised that it ended with the wedding. I almost thought it, but I was like, this battle and all these people that are dying, and the plot twist with, this was the bad guy feeding the villains, like that. I knew all of that. Right. That was easy to guess. That was there the whole time.
Right.
I don't know. Like, it just...
But also, okay, let's start in on the thing. So the ending was very reminiscent of the ending of Iron Flame, in that, okay, something really bad happens and Xaden has gotten worse.
Of course. Yeah. That was definitely going to happen.
Yeah. And of course, he saves everyone using his extraordinary power, and he does what he's not supposed to do. And now he's like fully venom. Like, he's turned.
He's turned. He's got the veins and everything. And that was not surprising.
No. And it feels like the ending of the other book, with exception of the little surprise secret wedding.
Yes.
I'm like, wow, that seems very familiar. Didn't love that, but okay. So let's just jump in, but based on that.
Right ahead.
Okay, so my first issue with Xaden is I feel like the author missed an opportunity for us to see him being bad.
Ooh.
Because at the end of the last book, it was sounding like, oh shit, he's going to have a real struggle ahead. And in this book, the author does her favorite thing to do, which is tell, not show. So this whole book, Xaden's like, oh, get away from me. You want to get away from me. I'm so bad. I'm going to be so bad. But it's like a cakewalk. It's been almost 70 days, 66 days. It's like, it's so easy. I feel like this would have been a good chance to show,
The character development was almost exactly a repeat of Iron Flame for both of them, because Violet here's still struggling with secret keeping. And there was one line where Riddick called her out on it. And I was like, okay, at least Rebecca Yarros is self-aware enough that her secondary characters are literally calling her out in the middle of a scene. But it's still so frustrating where we read 600 pages of Violet, like, hating secrets and throwing hissy fits and temper tantrums like a fucking toddler because Xaden keeps secrets. And now in this book, she's like, well, I have to keep every secret ever. I can't tell anybody anything ever because secrets are important. And I was like, this is the exact same thing we just went through last book.
Yeah,
There's been no growth, no change.
No.
You're just saying you love him more now. And you're keeping his secret from your friends, even like it was the same thing.
It was,
and
the same
that's
thing.
what frustrates me the most. Like, this is a series. Yes, character growth can be slow, but there should have been more growth. She should have immediately gone to her friends. She should have not had this whole secret keeping bullshit for however many hundreds of pages it was until Riddick literally dragged her and like forced it out of her.
You're gonna tell or else.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like
Riddick was my favorite character in this whole book.
Was
like
he?
hands
Okay.
down.
Yeah.
He was the best. He was the best thing about this book.
Well, I did like his character. I liked a lot of the things the other characters did. There was a big cast of characters and
huge cast.
And I think in one way that's good. I think she managed it okay, but also it's bad. Like we spend so much time focused on Violet and Xaden. It's like, and then these other characters are just around. Just, it's strange. I almost feel like we should have, I don't know, because Violet was on my last nerve by the end of this book.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And I was going to say, you know, one of the perks, I liked that she jumped into other people's head in that last battle, because then
you already broke the rules. You have to mention it again later.
Breaking the rules. You should have done this earlier. You should have mixed them in earlier.
Okay, so... So you liked her second signet then?
Oh, no, that's not... I'm talking about, like, when we were in Imogen's point of view in the battle. Like,
okay,
and when we were in Rhiannon's point of view in the battle.
I actually marked that too as things I like that we got other point of view, but we'll bring it.
But I wanted that more. I wanted more of that interspersed without, so it wasn't just Violet the whole time. Like, it needed it.
We needed it. Even if we got more of Xaden in there, even if we got a couple more chapters of him.
That would have been a perfect time to show him being bad. That would have shown his struggle. That would have... Because we talked about this at the end of Iron Flame, that epilogue where he just does it felt so rushed, and we're like, why? Like, we know he loves her, we know he's struggling, but we want to see more of his why.
Yeah.
And if she had included scenes from him, we could have seen him struggle more.
Yeah, and it would have made more sense, because I feel like this whole book, I honestly was sick to death of hearing how in love he was and how she is everything to him. I could not stand it. I'm like, y'all are children. What the fuck do you know? So
I kept going, she's only 21 and he's only 23. They still have like their baby faces.
Yeah, they still have the baby fat on them. So, and I don't know. It was just so to the point of obsession. And it was just all really sexually driven, I think. So I'm like, well, why do you love her so much? What is it? And if we had gotten his point of view more, maybe we could have understood why he felt the way he did, what actually like tethered him to her in that kind of way where he would burn the world down, basically.
Yeah. We definitely needed more of that, because it was literally just sex.
Yeah.
I mean, he would say, oh, you're brave, oh, you're this, oh, you're that. And yeah, sometimes she would step up, but when it's just the two of them, even when they're mind melding, talking to each other, it's just like, oh, let's have a flashback to this time we broke the table, or let's think about the time we broke furniture. Let's think about sex. It was always sex.
Yeah. And it was, as a result, kind of a forced proximity because of their dragons. So they really didn't get to know each other, really. They just were instantly stuck in each other's heads.
And he said, or she said, one of them said they started falling that first time they kissed, which was because the dragons were having sex at that point. Like, they were overwhelmed by the dragon feelings.
Yeah.
So are their feelings even real, or are they just the dragon feelings?
You know, there was even a part where they were about to get into it, and they started talking about how toxic their relationship is.
They said toxic so many times in this book. Is it toxic? I don't care. I want it anyway. Is it toxic? I love it anyway. And I'm like, okay, you're self-aware enough to realize this is toxic.
Yeah, but it's fine.
Come on.
It's fine. We're in love. It's fine. It's toxic, but it's fine. He's like, hey, you tried to kill me. She's like, hey, I threw knives around your head. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Toxic. It's fine. I haven't actually killed you. We're just keep trying to kill each other, but we haven't actually hurt each other.
It's codependent.
It's toxic, but fine.
It's toxic. It's codependent. There's a lot of levels of secrets. It's just not a good thing. And plus, their dragons are just... I don't know, they kind of add to that pressure, I guess, the pressure cooker of them feeling the need to be together. So it's like I can't even really root for them as a couple the way I think I should be.
No, because like you keep saying, we only see Xaden and she tells us what's going on with him, but we're not being shown. We're not in his mind. We don't
We
know.
can't feel it. We're just being told.
Feel it.
Yeah.
We're not experiencing this whatever obsession.
I think you nailed it with calling out not getting more chapters, because all she had to do was give us 3 or 4 throughout the book, you know, at certain points where things are changing for him. And that would have pulled us right into like...
And if she does these as bonus scenes like she did with the first book, I just...
It's too little too late.
Too little too late. This needed to be in the story, not a happy little bonus scene. Like, this needs to be part of the character growth, part of showing the readers how deeply he's struggling with this.
Because it doesn't seem like he is. He just says it. I don't know. Xaden get on my nerves too. They both do.
They both do.
Which is also bad. And I feel like I've experienced this in other, you know, books, where if I don't feel like I'm invested in the couple, this is a romantasy.
Yes.
So romance is the leading thing with the fantasy. And if I don't feel invested in them or believe them, that takes away from me feeling like emotionally tied to this series. I feel like whatever is fine.
That's any book, any series. If it's character driven, you need to be invested in the characters. And these characters have been stagnant and exactly the same for over 1,000 pages from book 2 onward, and it's just... we needed more growth from them, more change, more development.
Yeah, and it's hard to do. I think it's hard to do when they're like literally first year last time. Now she's a second year, and they're still trying to do school. They're still trying to do other. And I think maybe she couldn't focus on what needed to be done because she was trying to throw so much shit in this book, which is also another problem. She literally threw everything in the kitchen sink in like the first 200 pages to the point where I didn't go back and listen to anything or read anything. So I jumped into this like, what the hell's happening a little bit? Like, it's like she doubled down on trying to world build and info dump in the beginning.
So I have mixed feelings about this, and I'll put on my editor hat and tell you. So the epilogue of Iron Flame, the last page, is literally Xaden walking down to talk to Jack. And the prologue of this book is that very same moment, but from Violet's point of view. So that I get. That I understand. I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah.
Then we jump in 2 weeks later, and Violet has several plans going. Stuff's up in the air. It's very confusing because it's not spelled out, but that's almost a good thing. She should have spelled out one of her plans. But when you're writing a series, when you have characters who come up with a plan, you don't want to explain the plan to the reader unless they're going to fail. And so her plan with the other Duke, Viscount guy, whatever, she was trying to get his books. It didn't look like it was going to work, but then it worked at the last minute, and then she explained the plan afterward. That's actually like how you should do it. But there was so much going on.
It was everything else.
Yeah, no, that was...
I mean, I knew what she was trying to do. Like, she didn't have to explain it. I was fine with it. But it was everything else. To get us to the point where they were going off on their mission and they were going to break the rules. All the way up until that part.
Yeah,
it was kind of dull to me. I was like,
absolutely.
Okay, we got a lot of information, but to me, nothing of note was happening. Not really, to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I mean, kind of info dumping. Like, we got to learn a lot more about the world. And I think it's fine in a way, but also, this is the third book out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
So couldn't we get to it a little faster? I just felt like it kind of dragged. And to be honest, I can tell you, actually, I didn't really start even highlighting things in this book. I have a couple notes, but until I got around 200 pages, I didn't really even care. I don't give a fuck what she's doing.
It was slow.
I don't care.
It was slow.
So to me, I feel like it was a lot of talking, a lot of yapping, a lot of telling, a lot of, like, we're scribes or something. Do we need to know? I don't know. Do we need to? I don't know. And I think some people loved it, but not me. It was struggle, the beginning of this book. And I think that it could have been done better.
Absolutely. It was... Yeah.
I didn't love it. So I guess the part where they go off, on their mission, and then they kind of break the rules and they continue on to the islands instead of going back like they're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
That part was interesting, but at some point I wanted to look at the map. So I look at the map. I'm like, there are no aisles on here. So I look at the front. I'm like, they're not here. I go to the back. I'm like, is it in the back? Hell no, it's the same fucking map.
Same fucking map.
What a waste of space. Why do you have to give the same map on the front and the back? Why couldn't she talks about them being on a map?
Mm-hmm. I would have loved to see that map.
We see the map?
That should have been the map in the front or the back.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is the same map they put in Iron Flame. So if we're going to get a map in every single book, they should give us different maps.
Yeah. Because honestly, they spent so much time doing all the stuff in the aisles. I want to see it. This was a cop-out. Like, what? I don't need 2 maps of the continent. Actually, I'm going to get the Iron Flame right now and look at the map. It's the same map in the front and the back. Again.
Ugh.
It's identical. That's some bullshit. It's the exact same map.
That's annoying. That's very frustrating. Because as this world is growing, as they're expanding, we should see what they're seeing. Like, we should see the literal map.
Yeah. Which is some bullshit. Because I wanted to see. I
know. Also, okay, does yours have the... Does it say the Target thing in yours?
No, mine isn't from Target. What do you mean?
No, mine's not from Target, but in the ISBN, it says Target exclusive edition, inserts by Elizabeth Turner.
Oh, yeah, it does
Stokes.
say that. Mm-hmm.
That's why we know it's not real art, because they put this in every fucking book.
Yeah, they just covered it. I didn't even notice it was on this page. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, normally they don't do that for every copy. They'll space it out and actually just put that in the Target one and leave it out of the rest. But
so that's them being cheap again.
Mm-hmm.
They have the ISBN for the standard hardcover, deluxe edition, and Target exclusive, and ebook all printed on this page. That's weird.
It's not mathing. The math ain't mathing.
Elizabeth Turner Stokes. That must be the art director, because here it is. Art and design by cover by Shutterstock. Oh my God. They got all their shit from Shutterstock. That is a joke. Like, this series has made them so much money. They can't hire legit artists.
2.7 million copies in just the first week.
Wow. Yikes.
Yeah.
What a mess.
What a mess.
I can't. Okay, well, that's interesting to know. All right, what other issues?
Okay, can I rant about something that
Please.
Ultimately, it literally does not matter. but this has been like a tiny thorn under my fingernail, and it is
Mhm.
bothering me to the point where I just want to scream.
Go for it.
So apparently Miss Violet has a thing for crowns and dated the prince.
Mm.
Which, first of all, do you think princes are allowed to just date anybody like that?
Mm-mm.
Make that make sense. But the timeline does not work in any way, shape, or form.
Okay,
It does
tell
not
me.
work. So they were together for about 7 months. And I think this is on page like 152, I believe, when she's explaining to Xaden. She's like, yeah, we were together for about 7 months right before he started conscription day. And then they ended the relationship in December when she walked in on him fucking his professor.
Mm-hmm.
Except one of the major rules and plot points of book 1 was that first years were not allowed to speak to anybody outside of the school.
Yeah.
Nobody was allowed in the school. Nobody was allowed out of the school. They don't have holidays. They don't have breaks.
Mm-hmm.
They're not allowed to write letters.
Right.
In book 1, Rhiannon had to sneak out to see her family, and it was a whole big thing because they were breaking all the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And then in year 2, it was a big deal about how they were finally able to send letters and talk to people. Like, this has been such a major part of the plot.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, yeah, he was just here at the school for 6 months out of our 7-month relationship. So they were technically only together for 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know, I guess maybe he came home because he's a prince.
Well, I mean, I this is not on the page. I guess it doesn't matter, but I'm curious to what happened to that teacher because, you know, that's the rule. The teachers aren't supposed to fraternize.
That was another
with the
big
students.
rule in this book is, Zane's the professor. You can't even look at each other now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what happened?
She probably got fired, or maybe she died. I don't know. It was just one of those things where I was like, this is the dumbest shit.
I agree. That is the dumbest shit. It was unnecessary. And I was kind of telling you earlier, like, I thought that was I kind of considered that like a blip in the story because I'm like, what the hell? What relationship? Okay, next. Like, I disregarded it.
And I wish I could have, but it literally felt like a little splinter, like a tiny little splinter. Because like they talk about it twice. She does her 1-sentence recap, and then it never matters again. And he's, you know, gone for more than half the book, right? Like, it literally does not matter in the grand scheme of things, except where the fuck is her world building? You can't have these rules and then break them willy-nilly and expect me to keep believing all of your world building rules.
She just wanted something for Xaden to feel jealous about.
Yeah. Which was stupid. At least, you know, they could have dated a year earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they could have dated when she was 17 and he was almost 18, or, you know, almost 20, like right before he went into the school.
Yeah. Which also is stupid, being that, like, she was like completely in love with Dane at the beginning of Fourth Wing. She thought he's it. She was trying to get his ass at the beginning of Fourth Wing.
Because she missed him and he was everything.
Yeah. Like, what happened? I thought, okay, so when was this relationship? Before or after you were lusting after your best friend?
I mean, okay, so she has mentioned that she's had like 2 lovers before Xaden. She's very casual. And I always kind of appreciated, like, okay, she's not a virgin. He's not her first. We don't have that first obsession. Like, they're still weirdly obsessed with each other, but they're not each other's first. So we're good there.
Right.
But making it this prince dude for 6 months while he's at this school, and also he doesn't have a dragon and had to be carried by a fucking griffin.
That is the fucking funniest thing ever. I'm like, this guy is he is so whack. Like, what is sexy about him at all?
Nothing, other than the fact that he has a crown.
He's in a basket.
Also, she complained that he would, like, beat people or throw temper tantrums, and I was like, well, why did you stay with him?
Yeah.
If you hated this about him, why'd you stay? Well, if he's at school and you can't talk to him, I guess you're stuck. But like,
that doesn't
where's
even
his dragon? Did he fail school? What happened?
Honestly, it doesn't even seem like someone that her character would like. This chick was
Not at
trying to be
all.
a fucking scribe.
Yeah.
Like, she don't like that
she
kind of
should have
guy.
been hooking up with, or a cadet.
Yeah.
Like, she could have been with random dudes, and that would have been fine.
Right. Like, why
But this
him?
was just to make Xaden jealous, just to kind of throw a wrench in things. Like, it did not work. And I hated it so much. I wanted to rip him out of the story.
What's the trope where, like, the girl is so special, everyone wants her?
The special one trope?
Yeah, thank you. The special one trope. That's exactly also what they did with Violet. Like, she's so great, everybody wants her. Like, why, though?
Yeah. No, everybody wants her. Dane wants her. Xaden wants her. The stupid prince wants her back.
Yeah, that was very weird. That whole scene was very weird.
He should have been cut, or just an annoying friend. Like, they didn't need to do the stupid, he's my boyfriend.
Yeah, or he could have played himself. He could have been the character he was, just minus axe the boyfriend bullshit. Like, just axe it.
Absolutely. Yeah. They could have been friends, because if she had grown up with Dane and they were sometimes around the royals, like, yeah, we know she's friends with Cam, who's here under false pretenses, again, which does not make sense. Is Eric.
They keep changing his name back and forth. They call him both.
Yeah.
But
it just... Why would the spare have to hide when the heir got to do this class? I
think just because they didn't want him joining the army. That's the explanation we were given, right?
But then the older brothers shouldn't have gone in at all either.
Honestly, they don't want so in Royal World, they don't want the spare doing anything dangerous either, because he's the spare.
Yeah, I know. Like, he's actively hiding and has been hiding for most of however long it's been. Like, it contradicts itself.
Yeah.
She keeps contradicting herself. And I know this is a big world, but you know what? You can make a series Bible. You can have your editors keep track of world rules. You can talk to your writer friends. I have authors, I have clients, personal clients that have bigger books than this, that have more in-depth world building than this, and they don't make mistakes like this. Like, this is just such a big mistake on top of everything else we've already talked about, where I'm just like, no.
So at the very least, her editor should have caught some of this.
Yes. Her editor should have caught this. If she has beta readers or critique partners, anybody who's obsessed with the series, like the fans have been creating such intricate series Bibles for her.
I haven't heard anyone else mention that but you.
God damn it. Do I need to, like, go make a TikTok to complain
I swear to God.
this?
Like, the fans are like, I don't think she needed fans to beta read this. She needed critical readers to beta read this. Fans are just going to be like, it's great. Kiss her butt. It's great.
It's not.
But she needed a different kind of, like, she's reached this level, and I've mentioned this type of writer before. The publisher just lets them do what the fuck ever, because you got baked in audience that will buy your books. So I don't have to hold your hand. I don't have to look at your stuff too much. Whatever, go for it. They'll buy it anyway.
No.
She's reached that level.
Absolutely. Yeah, she has reached that level. But, like, as an editor, my integrity, my very job is like, no, let's make it the best it goddamn can be. And fixing this, yes, we need to fix details like this. We need to fix the character development. We need to fix the pacing. We need to fix all this other shit. But details like this are just as important.
Yeah.
Because if you're breaking your world building rules, nothing...
What's the point?
What's the point? Yeah, what's the point?
Yeah, I agree. Okay, let's take a quick break. You guys, by checking out these commercials, you are supporting the podcast. We have a lot more to talk about. I still have things on my list of critiques that we need to get through. So we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Let's move on to our next thing.
Pick something else. You go.
So, Andarna also pissed me off for most of this book. Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
Okay, so she is annoying as fuck. Yes, she is a adolescent, kind of like a teenager, but she feels like a mirror image of Violet. Like, they don't listen, they do what they want. Fuck the rules. Fuck anybody. I know what's best. I'm going to do it. That got very annoying. And then when she finds her people, I'm like, oh, this is not going to go well. And it doesn't. It does not go well. And her feelings are hurt. And she goes off and broods like a teenager does. Then she makes this decision that feels very important. Monumental, the scene that where, she leaves.
Yes.
And Violet is like pulling the fucking, like, I'm going to be depressed for days.
The Bella Swan.
Yes, the Bella Swan. See, that's what it felt like. She's in bed. And it feels important. It feels, damn, she's gone. And then this fucking dragon shows up a couple chapters later. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
I know.
That dragon
You
needs to be gone.
Pull the biggest twist of like she's gone.
No, yeah.
Only to fix it 3 chapters later.
We shouldn't have seen her into the next book. She needed to be gone a while.
Halfway through book 4 before she comes back.
Because honestly, when that scene happened, I said, "Oh, don't be sad. She'll be back." And she was, but I did not expect to see her again in this book.
I didn't either. I was like, "This is really sad," but she'll be back in the next book. She'll come back with more powers. We'll do all this other stuff. Like it'll be okay eventually. Not right the fuck now.
Yeah, and that was a total miss. A total miss with that the dragon character. I was mad about it. I was like, well, that made whatever sacrifice she thought she was making to learn about herself for nothing. You're asking right the fuck back.
Yeah.
So what was
Absolutely nothing.
What was it? You couldn't have learned all the secrets in however many days you were gone. Like, what, a week? Were you gone a week?
If that. Yeah,
like, get the fuck out of here. She cried for 4 days.
I don't even think she could fly to the island and back in that much time.
No, and her wings, she all weak and stuff. Like, how?
It took them like weeks to fly back from the island.
But yet here she is.
And yeah, here she is. No.
That was so whack. I was so angry. I'm like, why did you do this dragon character like this? Like, she was annoying to begin with, but then she made this real adult feeling decision. And then she's right back. Like, what?
She didn't I gave her grace because I was like, okay, you're like 2 years old and acting like a 13-year-old child. So I will give you more grace than Violet, who's supposed to be an adult, but doesn't have her frontal cortex fully developed yet, but whatever. Like, you're actually 13. So I'll give you a little more grace, even though you're annoying as fuck. But when you're 13, you're going to be that annoying. So I was giving her more grace.
I still found her annoying, but I agree with you. After I found out how, after the dragons were talking to Violet about how they used her.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, that's fucked up. And and then she kind of said she didn't realize how old she was or something to that effect. It's kind of like, okay, so the author kind of wanted to give them a pass, but also at the same time give Andarna a pass for acting so bratty.
Yes.
So that worked. I kind of felt bad. I was like, damn, so I agree with you. I did think at that point I kind of wanted to give her a pass, but the whole first part leading into there, I was like, God damn, that dragon annoying as fuck. I don't know what's going on.
Oh my God, yes. I just, bringing her back at the end of this book.
Huge mistake.
Fucked it up.
Yeah.
Fucked it up. You don't do something that monumental and that big and then just la-di-da-da-da, she's back. It's fine. She saves the day. We're good.
That scene was one of the better done scenes when she left. I actually felt sad. I'm like, oh no,
I
she
know.
gonna leave. I actually was like, oh damn. And then here she is. I'm like, what a waste of my feelings. How dare you? How dare you?
Exactly. It was a waste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, that was another opportunity missed for character growth for both Andarna and Violet.
Absolutely.
Again,
Absolutely.
missed opportunity. I don't know why. I don't know why the author keeps doing that.
She keeps almost killing people for Violet and then bringing them back and everything's fine. And that's getting really annoying too. I was impressed in book 1 when she killed off Liam.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, this bitch is cutthroat. She will end anybody. So I keep expecting people to die. No.
She did it again with Mira.
I know. I was
this girl gets her throat cut.
Slicked. And I was like, oh my God, not Mira. And I was gonna cry. I was going to cry.
Yeah.
Because I love Mira. She's one of my favorite characters. She absolutely has all the common sense everybody needs, but nobody wants to use.
Yeah.
So I'm happy she's alive, but also, no, you can't just like dangle the character deaths in front of us, because then this turns into like Supernatural where you're like, oh, everybody's fine. No, they'll either die or they'll come back. It'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Mira's important enough. She's safeguarded. Because I'm like, I thought she should have died. And then when they saved her, I'm like, oh my God. I couldn't believe.
Then in Imogen's point of view, when Quinn dies.
Yeah.
I was like, well, first of all, this is too fast, because when Violet was stabbed with this, they flew for like 8 hours to get to Brennan to save her. And this bitch can't even walk 4 minutes down the steps before she dies. Like, timeline doesn't work. Again, breaking your world building rules. Not working. It was sad, but it wasn't as sad. Like, it was sadder from her point of view. Like, I have to give her credit. Like, Imogen's point of view, yes, she's in tears, we're sad. If it was Violet's point of view, she'd be like, who? I don't really care. I'm upset, but it wouldn't have hit that hard.
Right.
But still, we had to go to somebody else to see another death and feel that sadness, and it doesn't even affect Violet at all.
No.
And that's a cop-out.
So there was one other death. It was, he was a flyer. What was his name? It was start with a T.
Ty. He was the one who got the arrows through the heart, right?
Yeah. But he was also another minor character. And of course his griffin died as well. Which was, damn, that's fucked up. But I didn't know him at all.
Didn't know him, didn't care.
So she did. I knew he was flirting with
Kat, so like, yay, she has somebody to look to other than Xaden.
Yeah. So I kind of felt like that death was kind of at the level of Quinn, because I don't feel like I knew Quinn. I'm like, damn, that's fucked up. Like, she had a really cool astral projection thing going on that was very cool. But other than that, I'm like, I don't really know where she fits in. Yeah. So the real deaths were minor characters. And the important characters are somehow always saved.
Always safe.
Yeah.
Even, okay, so in the last book, Sawyer almost died, but he only got his leg half bitten off. And so in this book, he's struggling with that. And I was like, okay.
Oh, Traeger. That's it. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine. But I was like, okay, that's something, but we need more than just missing part of your leg. Like, it's and he was so secondary too. Like, they kept leaving him, they kept forgetting about him. It was supposed to be a big deal when he was finally writing again, and I was like, I don't really care about him anymore at this point, which is sad. Like, he's part of their core group. I should care about him.
He got a little page and a half of help from Violet.
Yeah.
Because, he was trying to do things like he didn't have a disability to deal with, or a handicap, right? He didn't have a handicap. So he's trying to figure out a way to climb his dragon without making him, like, do things for him. And it's like, get over yourself, dude.
Yeah.
Like, The dragon wants you to ride him, so he's going to help you. Let's figure this out. And he does figure it out. That's all I don't know. He's fine, I guess. I felt bad for him a little bit because, that sucks. Who wants to? But he did recover really quickly.
He did.
Yep. Maybe that's I guess because of their healing, what they can do with healing and stuff.
I guess.
He went from like no leg to riding a dragon in like 2 months
3
or
months?
something. Yeah, something like that. I don't know, 3 months?
Something like that.
I guess. Okay, let me check my notes.
What else do you got?
So I had a question. I'm big about the whys.
Yes.
Why this? Why that? And I don't think this was addressed. Still, why are the Venin doing what they're doing? What's the why of it?
Power is the why.
That is whack as hell to me. That's the reason? Power?
That's really the only reason that they have given us so far.
And that's stupid. I feel...
Yeah, no, it's in all of their brief classes, their battle brief classes, they're like, they're taking over, they're sucking this dry, they're doing this, they're doing that. They want Violet because somehow she is the special chosen one.
Like, why do they want her?
We haven't figured that out. Well, okay, so we kind of got that here at the last battle where she was like, you're the only lightning wielder in a century, and
So they just want a lightning wielder.
Yeah. But also that doesn't make sense because also apparently now it's the dragons who gift the writers their signet and their powers. So they can have a lightning wielder at any point in time.
But it's based on what they need, right? It has something to do with what the dragon can give and what that writer needs. Because like they talked... Yeah.
That's what they've always believed.
Right.
They always believed that it was from the writer. But here we learn from the Idrid people that the dragons kind of gift them that. So it's from the dragon, not necessarily what's inside the writer. But they like pick the writer and then gift them this.
But then that also goes to exactly to what you were saying this before, that she writes in contradictions. Because then we just heard about how her Dreamwalker developed.
Yes.
And that she had a need to find out about Andarna when she was sleeping.
Yes.
So...
Which, first of all, we guessed last time. We're like, she's having Xaden's dreams in book 2. We knew that. That was duh. I don't know. I feel like Violet has more powers.
That have yet to be revealed.
Because
more
every
signet?
time she's really emotional, there is a storm.
But
starting with the parapet, back and forth wing, day 1, she's freaking out. The storm rolls in. She runs across the parapet in the rain. The storm is like really heavy, and then it dissipates after she crosses. And like she's like, oh wow, everybody else is super safe because it's bright and sunny outside, not raining anymore.
See, and I just attributed that to, even though we just met Theophany in this book, really, I attribute that to being with the Venin, because she is a storm person. She creates the storms.
Yeah, but why would she know about Violet from day 1?
I don't think she did. But the point is, they were using the storms to hide. Remember in this book, they were talking about how, whatever they call their bad dragons, I can't remember what they call them, wyverns or whatever.
Yeah.
How they were able to kind of get close without them knowing because they were hiding in the storms.
Ooh.
Remember?
Yeah.
So I think that she was always kind of there, kind of helping them hide. Like during those fights, she was using storms to kind of have an advantage. Not that she knew that Violet was there to take advantage of that advantage. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Yeah.
Because, people had attributed that to her mom with the storm. But I don't know. I was starting to think it was Violet was starting to have like every signet, and she's going to be super special because she's like the rainbow queen, gotta catch them all, can do every superpower, whatever. Which is just fucking annoying. Like, let's be real.
Yeah. I'm perfect. I can do everything.
Yes. Except for runes. I'm so terrible at runes, but I'm good at everything.
Now she's going to be good at runes because somebody helped her. Was it Imogen that helped her? She's like, just start.
It was Imogen or Quinn. One of them helped.
They were like, hey, you use things with force, so just make it hard. Like, yank it and break it. And she did that. And she's like, the teacher's like, oh, I guess it'll work in a pinch. It's fine. And then her runes worked later. So she knows how to do that now, too. So I don't know, but that's just my 2 cents on the storms and her.
I mean, that makes sense because also we learned that one of the people in charge of the school has been working with the Venom the whole time. So, it absolutely could have been her bringing a wyvern in and dropping him off or doing something or whatever.
Yeah.
I also don't think he's the only person at the school. I'm convinced Professor Carr is one of them or working with them. Like, he's the top of my list. There's others. I can't think of their names right now, but, like, he's the top of my list.
There's a lot of, like, professors kind of, like, around that could be involved. And maybe even some 3rd years or 4th years kind of sneaking around that we'll be introduced to next time. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there was that one girl who they were yelling at to, like, do the thing, and all of a sudden she turned Venom, and Professor Carr just snapped her neck in front of everybody. And I was like, yeah, no.
Yeah, that happened fast.
You're turning everybody.
Yeah. So, I think that's all I had on my issues list. It was pretty long, to be honest. So
what did you think about Xaden becoming a professor?
Oh my god. Okay. So I was like, why though? This is stupid. Like,
so stupid.
Just another reason to have conflict between him not being able to be with Violet. Yeah. So he can do everything. He is a duke. He's the opposite of Violet. So, like, she can do everything. He can do everything. He's a teacher. He's a duke. He's a writer. He's everything. He's the most powerful.
And it
I don't like it.
He's always been like this outsider who everybody hates. And yes, he's nice to Violet, and she's like, oh, I love it when I get to see his nice side, and he's just a grumpy butt to everybody else, but I get to see his nice side. And then he's a fucking professor, and he's like kind of nice to like, he's a good teacher all of a sudden. I was like, no, this goes against his character development. This goes against his personality traits.
Yeah, he's starting to get a little lax with his outward meanness.
Yeah.
It's lacking, especially when he was being nice to Dane for that little bit.
Yeah. Well, like, okay, no, when he was like on the islands and happy, that was weird, but made me laugh. Like, I was like, okay, good. Like, this is you.
That was unique.
Relaxed and happy. And like, that was a fun moment. But the rest of the time when you're at school being a professor and like trying to teach the first years and the cadets how to work together, and I was like, this is not the Xaden we've been told about, especially not the one who's like super duper evil turning Venom now.
Right. Again, what the hell? Aren't we supposed to see him being so awful and trying to like fight that? No, he should be more mean, not less mean.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my god, it doesn't make sense.
Make sense.
The bad part is we can't. Can't, and obviously the author can't either. So there's that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you brought up like him being nice on the isle, because this is one more thing that I kind of found a little not great. Like, I didn't like the little island hopping per se. I'm like, it was wash repeat on each island. So it felt kind of, so I made some marks of like, this is this island, that's that island. So I guess there was a point to them, but I don't know. I just felt like it was like this micro adventure. It felt weird. I didn't love it, to be honest. I get the points. She did get some stuff done while they were doing that, and it resulted in them finding, you know, Andarna's kind, but it just felt like, how many islands are we, what is this? How many are we going to do? I don't know. It was fine.
It was annoying. Be very for real right now. It was annoying.
It was.
But his mother showed up and then tried to kill him.
Also annoying. I'm like, okay, so here's your mom, and he's mad because he was abandoned, and I get that he was upset and all of that, but then your mother's husband tries to poison you. And she's like, you tried to poison my son, and then she gets poisoned too.
Yeah.
So then Violet's like, I poisoned everybody. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right. Okay, so Mr. Bad Boy is supposed to be the evil one in this book, and Violet's the one killing people and poisoning people and playing mind fucking games?
Yeah. She poisoned everybody. She like, all y'all could die. I don't know. Look, she's very smart in that way. Like, she sent Andarna to follow those kids. She like, just chill, hang back, but go there. She's very like, she meaner than Xaden is.
Oh,
like,
absolutely. She was a lot worse than him in this book, which is so weird because he's supposed to be the worst one in this book.
And she can do all the things. She can do all the things and not turn. She can get so close to burning out, and she will not use the power from the earth.
Yeah,
she won't do it. But him, the only way I can save the day is if I use the power of that I'm not supposed to use.
Because I don't know. He just feels so dumb sometimes.
He is dumb.
Thank you. He is dumb.
He is dumb. Which also is not very attractive, but okay, I guess. Whatever.
No.
All right. I think I've officially reached the end. I don't know. We might end up in the good parts and then end up reverting back, but we'll try.
We're going to try.
Not to.
Yeah.
I guess let's move on to the likes. Do you have any likes, or should I get us warmed up?
You get us started. I'm trying to think. Okay,
so to be fair, even though I had so many complaints, I still think it's a fun time overall. It's like it's not a very deep kind of fantasy. So obviously it's romantasy. It's not anything close to like an epic fantasy. So while the plot and the characters aren't vast and deep, it's still kind of like, someone said this online and I think they are correct. It's like trash TV. It's like a guilty pleasure. It's kind of like Vampire Diaries with dragons. None of that shit has to make sense. It's all, if you look at it from that very high level, let's just have a good time for the shits and giggles. It meets that bar.
Yes.
So I like that. And it made the back half of this book pretty enjoyable because I was able to just flip those pages. I'm like, what's next? What's next? So I think it got there. It turned out to be a fun time anyway, despite everything. So I guess that would be my first like.
Yeah, no, like it's, even though she keeps breaking her world building rules, it is a very interesting and different world. I don't know of many or any other books similar to this. Like, I don't know, like, yes, there's romantasy, colleges, dragons, but I don't think I've seen like a dragon war college before. I don't think I've seen this depth, I guess. Even though, like you said, it is superficial, it's not as deep as it could be. There's so much more she could do, but it is unique in that sense. It is good depth in that sense. And it is very strongly romantasy because she focuses on the romance more than anything else. Like, the romance is the center. The romance is everything. And like the rest of the story just kind of circles around the romance.
Yeah. Which is exactly, that's it. And actually leads into another thing that I did like. I believe there were like, 4 or 5 kind of spicy scenes. See, I actually marked them. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 kind of spicy scenes. And they were fun. I think that these two have the chemistry in the bedroom. That's for sure.
They break lots of furniture.
They
somehow
sure do.
Without breaking her bones.
Look, I don't know how
I've been saying that since book 1.
We have. Like, how is someone so frail breaking cabinets and shit? Like, I don't get it. But okay. I guess. Suddenly, when it's sexy time, she becomes infallible. She's fine.
And that's part of the reason why I think she has, like, super magic, because when she's having sex, her body is fine. So, like, magically, she's somehow protecting herself, right?
I guess. But I did like those parts. I thought they were well done. They were kind of like, they weren't too spicy. They were just like, you know, like kind of open door, but not like too anything, really.
Yeah.
It was fun enough. It was fine. Which is at the very least what we needed, because there were no other connection between them. So the sexy time better have been spot on.
I thought we said we weren't going to complain.
I couldn't help it. And I think there is more in this book than any other book. Like, I found this thing online where people pointed out the scenes in other books. So I think the first book had like 2. The second book had like 3 or something. And this book had 5. So we're getting a little bit more, which is good. I'll take it.
Yes.
Let's see. What else? Oh, okay. So I do kind of like that Dane has kind of been redeemed a little bit.
Yes.
I like that. Because that's her bestest friend. So I like that he's not shitty.
He is starting to break the rules.
He is.
Which he started in the last book. He left the school with them. Like, once he learned what had happened, he was like, fuck all of this. I'm going with you. So, yeah. Yeah.
He went against his father, which he's like a daddy's boy, who, even though his father kind of hates his guts, oddly, it's weird. But, yeah, I like him now. And I think he could have another love interest too.
Do you think he's going to hook up with Sloane? Because that's my guess.
So, yeah, I think it is Sloane. Actually, someone has said something about the two of them, so I do think it is Sloane.
Yeah, they made eye contact a couple times, and I was like, okay. The guy who caused Liam's death is now going to hook up with his sister?
Look.
Interesting.
Look, if Violet can forget things, so can Sloane. She can be like, I'll give you a pass because you're a different guy now. We won't see that on the page probably, but they'll work it out some way.
Somehow.
But yeah, I like that he's kind of like on the team. I don't think he's gonna like revert back.
Yeah, no, I think he's definitely team break the rules now. I said this earlier, but Riddick, he was my favorite character in this whole book.
Yeah.
He had the most depth, right? So for the last 2 books, he's always just been the guy with the dick jokes.
Yeah.
Like, he's just the funny comic relief. And here, he called everybody out on this. He's like, I'm not just the dick joke guy. I've been reading every single book you hand me. I'm doing all of this research. I'm doing all of this work. Look how controlled my work is, where I can like freeze an orange while it's peeled inside. I really think he's going to like freeze somebody's blood at some point and like kill them. Like, it's going to be so cool and so gross at the same time. But like,
they hinted at that.
Yeah.
She actually says, so could you like freeze water inside of a person? He like, probably. Yeah.
So yeah, he had the most depth and the most change. And he called Violet out multiple times. And I was like, fuck yes. Give her that friendly bitch slap that she needs. And I never would have guessed it would have come from him. But I fucking love him. And I love that he did this. And I love his growth.
I thought that Ree would be the one giving that to her, but it's not. It's Riddick. He's giving it to her.
I would have guessed Ree or even Sawyer, because he has, a year on them. He's a little more mature than them. He would kind of give them that advice back in book 1. Like, Riddick was the last person I would have guessed, but he had the most growth. And I want that depth and that growth for everybody in this series.
Yeah, because he was very hurt in the last book with the lies. He's like,
Oh,
enough
yeah.
with the lies.
Which,
You know?
hello, Miss
Yeah.
Violet, who's so hurt all the time anytime anybody keeps any sort of lie from her, but then she lies to her friends nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
She's such a hypocrite. It's
She
so
is a
annoying.
hypocrite. She lies to her sister.
Her brother, her sister, her friends.
She lies to everyone.
And if she could lie to her dragons, she would.
She probably would, but she can't.
But
it's
she
impossible.
Can't,
yeah.
They're in her head.
Yeah.
But otherwise, she would absolutely lie to them.
Because she gave Brennan a very hard time. Very, very hard time. And then couldn't understand why Mira was mad.
Yeah.
So she's so funny. And I like Mira, and I feel bad for her a little bit. Like, she seems like the forgotten child a little bit.
The middle child.
Yeah, like she didn't get her daddy's books. She didn't. I'm like, oh my God. She had to go off and talk to like the grandmother that was like X'd out of the family. Like, why are you talking to her?
Oh my God.
And then,
I wish that was developed a little bit more instead of rushed there at the end.
Yeah.
But hopefully, maybe that'll come up more in the next book, but also...
I don't know. Maybe Violet still has to go talk to her, so...
Probably,
she'll come up again.
She definitely does, yeah.
Yeah. She felt like betrayed. How dare you? How dare you go talk to that woman? Like, shut up, bitch. Like, relax. But also, I did like the Irids, Indarna's kind. I thought they were very snotty.
I love
very
that.
mean. But I liked that they are kind of like pacifists, really. So they're very different from the other dragons, which is going to make for interesting interactions in the future, because we know we're not done with them.
Oh, absolutely not.
Especially the one, I can't remember his name, that is like in Andarna's like core.
Oh,
den.
Yeah, the one who came and took her away.
Yeah, and he also came back to light the thing. You know, he's like, okay, go ahead.
Can I I'm sorry, this is a tiny, tiny annoyance, but they just like decided in the middle of the last battle that Andarna could only light one. And they never even tested her coming to try and light the second one. The ward stone.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, she can only do one.
But how do they know that?
And then we never even tested it.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't even try it.
Yeah.
You could have even skimped over that and said, we flew there, we tested it, it didn't work. But no, they never even tested it. They're just like, yeah, we have to find the other dragons.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's a plot hole, honestly. Tell us why we need the other dragons.
Why does it have to be a different dragon every time? Why? And, like, why don't you even test that?
Well, there's so many of them that if they did enough of those, that whole place would be safe. Because there's so many of them hidden. They're just...
Oh, absolutely. It would be great now, but, like, they spent however many months trying to, like, think about this and look for this and that and whatever, and just...
But I do think they're cool. I like that they can change the colors. And I felt kind of bad while they were kind of like listening to her story and like judging her. And I'm like, but you're talking about how the writers and all the humans used her. You did too. You left the egg there to see, well, what the fuck happens? Like, you used her as well.
Absolutely. You left her. You abandoned her.
Yeah.
Didn't, like, leave a note with instructions saying, this is who you are. This is what you're supposed to be. We're just like, no, we're going to leave you in this society. And we're going to judge you for acting the way the society tells you to act.
So, of course, she's going to adapt into what's natural for her, which is how she was raised. She was raised by the baddest warrior ever. So, she's going to want to be a badass. That's natural to happen. And then they want to critique her. They even critiqued her, like, why did you pick black as your resting color? What is that? Like, what's up with that? Like, y'all go drowned in the water. Okay?
Yeah. No, they were bitches. It was really interesting and different and cool. But I
liked it. But I just thought it was an interesting dynamic. But I'm like, God damn, they rude. But, of course, it wouldn't be right if she was able to just be like, oh, my family, skip off into the sunset. It wouldn't be right. So
no, they needed to fail.
Yeah.
They needed that failure. But And Darna should not have come back until book 4.
I agree. She needed to learn a lot. She needs to grow up. I would have liked her to come back as an adult.
Yes.
Like, okay, I'm grown now.
My wing is fixed.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. And who knows? Maybe they may not be linked in the way that they were before, but something different. You know, maybe she wouldn't want that same attachment again.
Which would be fine.
Yeah, but she came right back and just settled right back into status quo, which was really, you know, like we said earlier, disappointing. Okay, so I have one more. Well, I have a couple more, but I did like Broccoli. It was cute.
Oh, that was so cute. That was quite possibly the cutest part of the cutest thing in this whole story.
Who names an orange cat Broccoli?
Why not Carrot?
Why not Carrot? And I'm like, okay, so now we got this cat. Is the cat going to be a rider or a flyer? Who's going to carry the cat? Is it going to be in a basket, someone's basket? Or is it going to be riding on a dragon?
At least.
I mean, cats are nimble and they can stay up there. So maybe they'll be a rider. I don't know. Take the cat with you.
I hope so. But that was cute.
Total randomness, but like they got that from the same aisle that murdered someone. So we're like, oh, here's a gift of a cat. Here's a gift of a knife or an arrow.
Here's death.
Death. Cat death. There you go. Like, what the fuck? Random.
It was kind of circling back to the world building. I liked the fact that she started going more in depth about the different gods and religion, because that has been very much missing throughout the first 2 books. Like they always talk about the god of death and Malik, and they're like, yes, we released your soul to the god of death. But now we're like, okay, there's a whole pantheon. There's a whole bunch of gods. This is how everybody relates to the different gods. This is how everybody enjoys, and I really like that.
Yeah,
like as world building, that gives more depth to the world, because you know, not everybody's going to have the same religion, not everybody's going to have the same relationship to the same god. You know, it was really good to see those differences.
Actually, that's a really good place to like. So I guess there's 6 kind of dragons until they found Andarna. She's 7. There's 6 gods. So now people are rumoring there's got to be another god that we don't know about. Is it going to be fucking
Violet? Is she going to be the new god?
I hope to God not. I hope not. But some people are saying like maybe like a peaceful god or something to kind of go with the type of dragon that Andarna is.
That would be so on the nose.
I know. It's on the nose, but you know.
But, yeah.
I don't know. So, but if they're making it even, which it seems like they are, there's got to be something else. I don't know what, though.
I don't know.
I have no idea. And I don't think it's going to be that simple to be like a god of peace or something. But it's going to be something interesting, I'm sure. Hopefully.
I hope so.
But yeah, I think that learning about the gods and like the religion, and also even like learning a little bit more about like we had some interaction like while we were going through the aisles with other royalty. That was interesting as well.
One guard who was eaten by panthers was kind of freaky. That scene was. I mean, before, when they were standing there covering all the stuff, and she was like, "Oh, this is the biggest steak I've ever seen." I was like, "This is human, isn't it? Like this is the guard who's missing." And then it took another couple paragraphs to be like, "Oh, there's her head."
Eek.
That was. Thank God nobody ate her, and there was no accidental cannibalism in the story.
I know, right? That'd have been like, oh my God. But funny, I think. But
yeah. Kind of like we said earlier, I really wish we had a map of all the islands. Like that, I really wish we had that. Or at least something to kind of see what they were doing. Even if it was just like a map of one island. They were so small, like it should be the collection of islands.
Of
like
them,
it should have been. I would much rather have a map of that than the continent.
Same. Because there were some that they knew and a bunch that they didn't. They had to go to all these different islands and just see what was there, you know? Which also I think is kind of stupid. If you're going to find dragons that are chameleons, you think you can just fly over and see them? What?
Like I said, Mira has the most common sense. Nobody wants to listen to her.
Like, what? And I mean, we see how, when Andarna, when they found her people, they were like hiding in the water. They just chilling out
they
there.
were just standing in the sand, hiding in the water.
Like, oh my God. Then they just turn colors so you can see them. Okay. But sure, we'll waste our time doing flyovers of all these random islands. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Totally fine. And also, I guess I should bring back around. We did make this point earlier, but because, this is segmented, I want to reiterate. Yeah. I did like the different points of view at the end.
Yes.
I really enjoyed seeing like Ree talk to her dragon.
Yes, that was good.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Like the different attitudes and stuff. I'm telling you, all dragons just have attitudes.
Yes, they do. And like we said earlier, in case you guys missed it, I really wish there had been more scenes from other people throughout the story. I wish we had gotten more from Ree, more from Xaden, more from Imogen, like literally anybody and everybody. We could even get a scene from Dane's point of view, and I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we could have got one chapter from him.
Yeah. Like one scene from him at one of the islands or something. Like if
when
we
he
just
went against his dad, that would have been a good scene.
Yes. Like, when he broke into his dad's apartment to break out the books and such, that would have been good.
Yeah, would have. And we'd have been like, ooh, look at him.
No, we need to see more of all of these characters to really care about them, but especially Xaden and seeing his struggle. We want to see it, experience it with him, not just have him say, oh, I'm struggling. Oh, I'm struggling. Oh, I'm struggling. Because that doesn't engage the reader as much.
Exactly. Let's see. The final thing on my likes was I do like Violet's second signet. I think it's interesting because like, Xaden said, people can't block when they're asleep. And it seems like she tends to see people's worst nightmares. And sometimes the worst nightmares are embedded with truth, right? So that is a very interesting thing. And I think once she develops it more, she can start snooping around for what she wants.
Oh, absolutely.
In the dream. Like what she can start manipulating people in their dreams.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So another intrinsic. So that means another signet to hide. No one can know that. So that could be fun. Depends on how she uses it, what they do with it now that it's revealed. Yeah. So didn't the author say that it was given away in the first book, what her second signet was?
Yes.
Do you know?
I'm trying to think, because it was definitely, she had the dreams in book 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I was wondering if you would remember, because I don't know anything.
She had that one dream about her dad. But maybe it wasn't her dream. Maybe it was... But I thought it was her. I thought it was her and her dad. And she was like, I want to be like Mira and Brennan and be a writer. And her dad was like, no, you're going to be a scribe. Or you're perfect. It was like 3 paragraphs somewhere in book 1. And I know like it was so glossed over that I was like, this is going to be important.
But that must mean he's not dead then. If you're dreaming from his point of view.
Maybe he's not dead.
You can't be dead and dream.
I mean, it could be her own memory, and she was dreaming herself. Maybe her dad is not dead.
Another Brennan situation?
Yeah, another Brennan.
Ugh. I don't know.
I mean, that would be really annoying to do this with Brennan. Then kill off Mom, then almost kill off Mira, then bring back Dad from the dead. Like,
no,
I just...
Leave him dead.
Leave him dead, yeah.
Although I kind of would love to hear some more answers as to why... he took his daughter to be touched by the god, basically. But not promised, or whatever that terminology was. So
yeah.
That's why he was really wanting her to be a scribe badly.
So, okay. I was thinking that she might have some kind of ability to talk to the dead, because in book 2, when she's being tortured, Liam's ghost is there. And she's like, I'm insane, but Liam is here. And like, he was basically himself talking her through it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always assumed it was some kind of like talk to the dead thing, not just dreaming.
Hmm. You know,
So
we did
maybe
talk about
Dad
that.
is dead and she can talk to his ghost.
Well, you know, I don't know if that could be an offshoot of something an intrinsic could do. Because we
Maybe.
did question that before.
Mhm.
Like, was he really there or not? You know, was she seeing him or no? Or was she just delusional?
I think he was really there. Like, really, his ghost was there.
But why hasn't she seen, like, her mother? Like,
Because she's not in, like... She was delirious and in so much pain because she was being tortured and having every single bone broken every single day, and, like, he didn't show up immediately. It took him, like, 2 days, I think, before he showed up. Something. I have to go back, like, but it was, like, in the middle of torture
Yeah.
is when he finally showed up, and she's like,
So-
I'm delirious, I'm insane. So I don't think her mother would show up if she's just kind of...
So the only way that could be a thing is if we find a situation where she finds herself near death again.
Probably. Yeah, like near death,
Yeah.
in a lot of pain.
Mhm.
I mean, when she was laying in bed for 3 days because Darna left her, maybe that could have spiked something, but also she was just so out of it that I don't think she would have noticed.
I don't know. I think it's a stretch now. Being that what the author decided to do with her second signet, unless you said, like you said earlier, she has a couple more hidden in
She
there.
could have more, but also it could grow, like you said, because Zayden's is growing. So now he just doesn't feel their intention. He like can read their thoughts and know exactly what they're saying, not just what they're feeling.
Well, I don't know. I guess that's the thing about fiction. She can do whatever she wants, technically.
And she keeps breaking her own rules. So I'm trying to be like, I don't know what rules we have to follow here, because...
whatever rules she feels like in that moment.
Yeah, whatever rules... Remember back in book 1 or book 2 or wherever, where they're like, if you have 2 signets, you will die. But then all of a sudden, every single marked person has 2 signets. And now she does too. And nobody's like exploding or anything.
Yeah.
It's just...
I don't know.
There are rules when it's convenient for her.
Yeah.
And it's fun. Like, it's fun to be like, oh my God, they have 2 signets. That's so cool. It saved their life when they did this, and it saved their life when they did that. And that's so great. Like, yes. Yeah. But also, is somebody going to explode because they have too much power? Like, I need to know if that's actually going to happen.
No,
or is that just a lie that they've been fed?
Well, I don't know. There's a lot that the author can do.
There's a lot she can do.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any more positives or things that you liked?
I'm trying to think. I mean, it was a good book. It's so tropey.
It is tropey.
And it's following the tropes. It's following the patterns. If you know what the tropes are, you see this and you're like, okay, yeah, this is exactly how it's going to end. This is what's going to happen. Like, it's not unique, but it is a unique story, but it's not that unique. I don't want to hate it too much, but it's like
being that you're saying that, I think I can say this, and it's not a positive, but I think it is what it is. This had no business being 5 books long. No business. This could have easily been a trilogy.
Supposedly, it was originally supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then she finished book 1 and emailed her editor and was like, it needs to be 5 books.
Right. I know. And the greed and the change of that has, I think, messed with this story in a bad way. Because now she's got to find more filler, more of this, create things that weren't there before. And despite what she says, she did not plot out 5 books. We know she didn't. So to now turn this into 500 plus page books, she is changing the
Mhm.
rules to fit
Mhm.
whatever she needs it to do to get the
Yep.
pages. And I think it's as simple as that.
It could have worked if she had somebody there pushing her to go darker,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, if we had cut out a lot of Violet's scenes, cut out her repetitive character growth, and put in scenes from Xaden and showing how much he's struggling. And if we added a scene from Dane, if we added a scene from the secondary characters, it could easily be 600 pages, but it would feel a lot faster if we were jumping around between the different characters and seeing the different things going on in the world. And like, it could have been so much darker and better.
I'm about to say something.
Okay.
It could be Throne of Glass. That is what because Throne of Glass, we get to see a lot of different POVs.
Mhm.
And I feel like maybe she wouldn't do that because it feels Throne of Glass. Like,
Maybe.
you know, in the later books,
Yeah.
you start to see more. But she did introduce that at the end here. So maybe
Mhm.
she might do that in the next book. Maybe.
But also, that's the only way we know Quinn died and we would have any sort of feeling about it.
Right.
And so she was, I feel like with that specific scene, she was trying to be like, see, I kill off characters. I'm going to be mean and kill off characters.
Yeah.
But it fell flat because that was their first scene in Imogene's head. And it was the first time, like, no, they're just too secondary at this point.
Yeah.
If we'd seen more of them, it could have hit harder.
I agree. Okay, so we're going to take another quick break, you guys. It's a long episode. I hope you love this long episode because we don't do them that often.
We don't, but it's fun.
It's fun. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will give our rating, and then we will jump into some open questions, possible theories. I have a couple noted. You know, we're going to talk even more about what comes next. So stay with us. Okay, welcome back. Anything else before we give our official rating and then move on?
I can't think of anything right now.
Okay.
But so I'm not making guarantees as we keep talking.
I do want to address the audiobook really quickly because I did download the audio too. And of course, Rebecca Solar does an amazing job, as she always does. She is spectacular, but it was such a lovely treat. Like, I saw that there were other narrators, but it didn't like click for me what that was going to be. So, of course, Teddy Hamilton, to hear his voice, he's got a spectacular voice. He did Xaden's chapter. And of course, there were 2 other people that had a little bit of time. Did
they only do those chapters, or were they voices throughout?
No. So there was, like we said, there was Ree's chapter, Imogen's chapter, and Xaden's chapter, but there was one other voice that I think did the dragon in Ree's chapter.
Okay.
So they weren't spread out throughout. They were just in that last little part of the book. But it was nice. I was like, oh, I'd like to hear more of Teddy Hamilton as Xaden. I think that could be really great. So yeah, we'll see. But the audiobook was spectacular. I got to listen and then read and listen. I did the combo thing. So I had a good time with it.
I was not going to reread Iron Flame, but then I opened my Libby app, and the graphic audio part 1 and 2 were available to download right away. And I was like, okay, I got to try this because I haven't listened to the graphic audio yet, and I wanted to see what it was. And it was good, but really bad at the same time.
Oh, no.
I can rant about how much it annoyed me for an hour easily. But the one thing was, I thought it was ungodly slow. Like the graphic audio. Okay, you know me. I rarely listen to audiobooks. Rarely. When you say you listen at 1.5 speed, I'm like, wow, that's really fast. Do you want to guess what I was listening at?
2x.
2.15x.
Woof. That's
And I was
slow.
like, there's still pauses. Why is this so goddamn slow?
But also, you were trying to hurry. Also,
I was, but also, I like. I was listening to everything and understanding, and they were skipping sentences, and I was like, I know you just skipped a bunch of stuff, and this is really annoying. But like 2.15. I've never listened to anything that fast in my entire life. I don't even think I've gone above like 1.3 or 1.4.
That's not enjoyable to me if it's that. I have to speed it up that fast. Even with the music and everything, how did it sound?
Like the music, everything sounded normal.
Oh,
like
wow.
It was that fast, but everything still sounded normal. Like the music, the dragons sounded like the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. Like all of the voices, everything, like it was a little fast, but it sounded very normal to me. And I was like, do I need to keep going higher? And I just was like, I'm going to listen at this speed because it's so weird that I'm listening to anything this fast and it still feels slow to me.
Well, you know what that tells me? That I don't want to listen to the graphic audio.
No, I do not recommend the graphic audio.
Okay. Because I like a good audiobook, but I just like reading so I'll tell you when I was like getting tired, I would turn the audio on and read and listen. And when I was doing that, I was reading faster than the narration. So I ended
up turning. What speed were you at?
At that, well, I was listening at like 1.5, but when I was reading, I was faster. So I put it up to 2x.
Oh, wow.
And that was better. So I was like able to listen and read at 2x. And I still wanted to read faster, but I slowed down to match the audio because I'm like, I don't know if I can listen much faster.
Yeah.
So I did enjoy that experience. And I don't really do that often. I'm usually either listening or reading, but like I was like trying to fight the sleep, and that actually kept me where I needed to be when I was trying to, finish this up. So I did enjoy that with the audiobook. So maybe, I don't know. I know you saw the graphic audio, so you said why not, but maybe try the regular audiobook.
I will try the regular audio.
Yeah.
Because, the graphic audio, they take out all of the dialogue tags. So you have no idea who's speaking other than the voices. But they have so many young men who all sound the same that it doesn't, you're like, who is speaking right now? I don't know. The most annoying part was with Liam. Since they took out the dialogue tags, you're like 10, 15 minutes deep into that scene before she says Liam's name. She just keeps saying him and he's responding. Okay. And so for anybody who doesn't know that's Liam, you might think it's Xaden or somebody else. And she's just talking back and forth while being tortured. And you're like, who is this person?
See,
and it took them so long.
That falls into my opinion of graphic audio in general. I have said in previous episodes where we talked about graphic audio, it's much better when you know the content already.
Yes, absolutely.
You can't go in blind on stuff you've never read, never heard from before, and then get what's going on.
Yeah.
But content that you know, especially with fantasy, it gets hard unless you know the base already.
Oh, absolutely. And even knowing the story, I was still like, who the fuck is talking? I don't know. But there is one professor who sounded exactly like Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. Every time she spoke, she sounded exactly like Ellen DeGeneres. And I was like, oh, it's the Ellen DeGeneres professor.
So did Terrence sound amazing? I saw the guy who was voicing him in graphic audio. It's this black guy. I'm like, oh, he sounds great. He's got this rumble that's like,
he that deep rumble. It was beautiful. When the dragons were roaring in the background, it sounded like the T-Rex from the 1990 Jurassic Park movie. Like that was good. But again, I was listening so fast and I was like, this is still slow.
Okay.
Like everything sounded normal. I was following along easily. Other than being like, I don't know who is speaking. I know what you're saying, but yeah. No, I would not recommend this for a first-time reader or listener.
Okay. Well, I think, okay, so let's move on now to, okay, let's move on.
Sorry.
Because I can keep talking about that. Okay, so let's rate Onyx Storm. It's time. Through all the good and bad, it's time to have our little come to Jesus with the rating. I'm scared.
Are you scared? Why are you scared?
Okay, I'm scared because I said if this doesn't knock my feet off, my toesies, if I'm not knocked off my feet, I'm not going to continue. So,
well, book 4 comes out in 2 years.
Right.
So you
That's
have
a
2
long
years
ways away
to change your mind.
Yeah.
Or just forget everything that happened.
So this is going to be one of those times where if we gave halves here, I would give it a half. Okay. So
can we break our own rules today?
No.
Okay.
No, we're hard asses. We can do this. We can do hard things. We can do it.
Okay.
Oh God, help me.
I'll go first then. I'm giving it 3 stars.
Okay.
It was right there in the middle. It was good. It was bad. It was annoying. I was intrigued. I wish there was so much more, but for what it was, like, that was good enough. It could have been so much better, but also it's fine.
Okay. I'm going to echo everything you just said. And I'm going to put the last nail in the coffin, and I'm going to say 3 stars. You know what I was arguing with in my brain.
I know.
I was like, oh God, do I want to do it? But I'm going to go with 3 stars. That's honest and that's fair. And on Shelf Addictions, 3 stars, not a bad rating.
No, it's not a bad rating.
Not a
Even
bad
on
rating.
Goodreads 3 says good.
Yeah, it was good, but it could have been so much better.
Yes.
Which is why I was saying, if this was the time to give a half, it would be now, but we're not going to do it. And you could read between the lines and figure out what it would have been. So let's take a look at, okay, so let's answer the question right now today. Are you going to read the 4th book?
I'm going to say maybe. I don't think I'm going to pre-order it. I'm not going to go to any parties. I'm curious enough to not say no. But I think, and I said this to you at some point, I don't remember if we were in a podcast or just talking, but like, I feel like all these special editions are going to end up at used bookstores. And if I find the, Target one at a used bookstore for like $4, I might think about buying it then. I feel kind of the same about book 4. I'm not Xing it out entirely, but I'm not going to read it the week it comes out.
So I feel similarly to you. I feel like I don't want to close the door completely, but in 2 years, who knows what vibe I'm going to be in and if I feel like it.
Yeah.
But
in
right
2 years,
now,
you might be like, wait, what was that book? I don't remember any of it. And then we might be interested, or we might be like, oh yeah, no, I forgot about that. Let's just skip it.
Yeah, that's honestly where I'm at with it. I'm not diehard right now. And I feel like when it comes out, if we do decide to continue and pick it up, depending on who the narrators are, I'll probably pick up the audiobook. And then if I like it a lot, which means 4 stars or higher, then I'll pick up the book for the shelf. But I'm not going to buy 2 copies.
No, God, no.
Until after. So that's like where my brain is now. Like if I'm even in the zone and I remember it and their hype is still there and I'm curious enough at the time, maybe. But I definitely won't be rushing to pre-order anything.
Yeah. No.
Especially since my book came out bullshit anyway. It's warped and everything. This publisher has the worst track record with publishing these books. So, nah, I'm not pre-ordering shit. I will get the Audible or whatever. If I'm even still dealing with Audible, it might be Libro FM. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be buying 2 books out the gate like I did this time. I literally got the audio and the hardcover immediately.
No.
So I'm not doing that. Just real quick, I have a couple of questions, like plot questions, like kind of going forward now that we know. And I'll put this out there for y'all. Comment on Spotify or on Discord or wherever you're listening and you have access to us. Comment on what you think the answers are. Because we don't know. These are theories, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the book, someone turned Venom. Someone turned Venom, with Zayden, with that scene where he was there and he kept saying someone was his brother. You remember that?
I thought that meant Jack was there.
I didn't get that. So,
because they kept talking about how Jack was his brother. Jack is his brother.
I know.
I assumed that meant. Hold on.
So that while you find that, the interwebs have been predicting different people because they think, and by the interwebs I mean like Booktok.
Yeah.
So on Booktok, there are videos where people are speculating Bodhi, Garrick. Some have made the case for Brennan, and some say Dane. Those are the 4 that they think could have turned Venom.
They keep calling Bodhi his other brother because they're cousins. Mm-hmm. So out of those, I would say Bodhi. Mm-hmm. But hold on, I'm trying to skim this really fast and see.
Because and I did not go back and reread that segment. So I'm like, I don't know. But that seems to be the question of the hour, is who turned Venom. Because it wasn't explicit. Otherwise, I feel like I would remember.
I'm not seeing it like.
So someone says, and I'm just grabbing this screenshot from someone's comment on Booktok. They said Imogen also sees Bodhi on the ground, quote unquote, retching on his hands and knees. Someone says he could be channeling then.
I guess. I didn't realize, because when the girl did it, she was just screaming.
Yeah.
Back earlier in class.
Well, someone else says...
What if it's the dragon?
What dragon?
His dragon.
You think Segale could be Venom?
I mean, she's there right now, and he keeps talking to her.
Huh.
And he's like, she says, what is there left of you to forsake? You tell me. You cannot mean to. You saw what happened. It's the only way.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that it was Jack. Hold on. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Actually, someone had a theory that Violet accidentally cured Jack in Onyx Storm. I don't know what that is. It's a little unhinged, but
yeah, how?
I don't know. So someone on Reddit has a theory of that. And let's see. Let me just read her stuff right quick. Nah, fuck that theory. I think it's wrong. Okay. I'm not even going to entertain it. It's stupid. I don't know. Maybe, but I am thinking that Bodhi would be too obvious. So maybe not him.
I mean, she's very tropey, but also she doesn't really do the obvious things. I don't think it's Bodhi, but out of those 4, it would be him.
So I know we talked about this earlier, but I do want to know from you guys listening, if there ends up being a 7th god, who do you think? What do you think it is? We gave our theories earlier, kind of on that, but that's definitely a question I wanted to pose to you guys, since everyone is talking about that on Booktok. And the last thing is something I really, really hate. And I hate this trope. But someone brought this up and it made me question it. The question is Violet preggers? Is she pregnant?
I think she's going to get pregnant before the end of the series.
I don't
think it's happening in Well, it might happen in this book because they had sex so much. And I don't know how much sex they'll have in the next book. But she's definitely going to get pregnant by the end of the series just because they kept talking about, oh, well, you can evolve. Oh, well, maybe their progeny will change and evolve. And I was like, oh, so she's going to have his baby.
Well, plus there's that ongoing mention of no heirs, right? And then, okay, so there's this part, I guess, where Andarna at the end says, I'm not going to let them burn you, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, what does Andarna know? What happened?
Well,
and then also there's another part where Brennan like comes to her and he like looks at her and supposedly his eyes get big or something. You know, he's a healer. Something about her is different that he can see. What is it? Something about her is different, but what? Something that would make him notice it right away as a healer.
Well, pregnancy is the number one thing, and they had a lot of sex in this book.
Yeah. Or maybe it's something physically different about her, like visibly, that we just don't know because it's not on the page. Maybe her eyes are red. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, she is mentally connected to Xaden, and if he's turning, then who knows? Maybe it's affecting her too.
Yeah. But I would hate it if she was pregnant right now.
I would hate it so much. Because I hate the pregnancy trope.
She's so young.
She's 21.
Yeah.
She has not lived any sort of life.
Right. She's too young. She's so immature still. There's so much growth that needs to happen. And I agree with you that pregnancy trope will occur before the end of this, even if it's a time jump and she's pregnant, which I also would hate. But at least put it further. Yes. And some people are speculating that she could be pregnant now.
I hope not.
I would hate that shit so fucking bad.
Yeah. No. If book 4 comes out and people are like, oh, she's pregnant in chapter 1, I'm like, nope. Done. Pass. Move on.
Oh my God. I would be so irate.
So done.
I'll try to get my credit back. Get my money back. Okay. And the absolute last question. Who do you think stole the dragon eggs? People are speculating that Andarna stole them. I don't know why. Why would she steal the dragon eggs?
Not Andarna, but the other Irid. Yeah, iridescent. Irids. The Irids.
They might have
stole them. I think they came back and stole them.
Yeah, they could be them. Because especially the ones that
hide in plain sight, and they don't like the fact that these baby dragons are turning into these quote-unquote
warriors.
Monsters and warriors.
Monsters, yeah. They could, and the ones that are not from her den, not that guy, but the other ones. Because he went against them.
My vote is them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good guess. Because, they would take some of them because they want to save them. So those are all the little questions I had at the end because the internet is a buzz.
A buzz.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That is it. That's all I got. I'm all Onyx Stormed out.
Same. We've been at this almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
Which is quite the longest episode honestly, we've ever made.
This is one for the record books. I don't think we've ever dedicated this much time to one book before.
I don't think so.
Did you guys like this? If you enjoyed this type of episode, let me know, because this was kind of a deep dive for sure.
Yeah. We can definitely do deep dives like this.
Yeah, so let us know what you thought of this episode. If you want to see more like this, or if you be like, nah, bitch, go back to the regular stuff, regular program. Let us know that too. So we're going to end it there. Thanks so much for listening. We appreciate you for listening to this entire episode. This has been a long one.
We appreciate you so much.
We do. And we'll catch you in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Did you enjoy today's episode? If so, please head over to Apple Podcast or Spotify and leave a positive 5-star review. It's a simple action that makes a big difference. You can also like this episode on your favorite podcast player or share it with your fellow bookworm friends on social media. Joining the Shelf Addiction Patreon family is another way to support us. For as little as $2 a month, you can help our team create even more amazing bookish content. If Patreon isn't your thing, consider becoming a supporter on the Spreaker app for just $5 a month and gain access to exclusive audio-only content. You can find me everywhere, including Instagram, X, and TikTok under the handle Shelf Addiction. Join our book club of the same name on the book club's website and app, where we discuss all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. Thanks for tuning in.